Welcome to the Braless and Cat Show. I'm Halley from Evolve and Succeed, and I'm super stoked to be here today because we're going to talk about cash flow forecasts and what the fuck they are so that you can always know where your cash is going and make sure that you don't have one of those dry months. So a lot of the time what happens is that when people think about their business, they aren't thinking about it from the perspective we get so used to thinking about money from a personal perspective, a consumer perspective, that we don't actually know how to manage money coming in and out of our business online. And that's something that's a different skill entirely, because what happens is that when it comes to your business, your freelancing business, your coaching business, your design, your virtual assistant business, is that you basically will have different months of different incomes coming in, right? So one month you might have $1,000, the next month you might have $2,000, the next month you might have $500. You're going to have varying amounts of income coming in, and that's not usually what happens with our personal lives, right? We usually get a job and then we get paid the same amount every week, and we have the same set expenses. So in many ways, when it comes to owning a business and successfully navigating cash flow, you need to start thinking about it a little bit differently, because when it comes to debt and when it comes to money, businesses operate differently than a consumer. Okay, so the cash flow forecast is really simple when it comes down to it. It's basically saying you can do week by week, you can do month by month. It depends on how often you want to be checking in. If you're having a tight cash month or week, I would definitely recommend, I like to do it week by week because I like to see that breakdown and flow to see if we're going to have, if you have people being paid on the 1st versus the 30th, it's usually really good for you to be able to see it on a week to week basis so that you get more comfortable with how your business runs. So the cash flow forecast basically will map out where your money is going in and out for your business on a week to week or a month to month basis. And how that helps you is basically you'll start to see that when it comes to your business, you might have months where you are only making $2,000, okay? And that's fine, but then you might find even if you do have money coming in that you can't afford to pay your bills on the 1st, because what happens is that you're not getting paid yet. So to be able to manage your cash effectively, which is part of your job as a business owner, you need to get comfortable with seeing your money coming in and out and planning effectively for that. And so ways that you can do that is either delaying paying out your vendors and letting them know in advance, because you don't want to just ghost them, but letting them know that you need to push out your payment by week, letting them taking in debt of some sort so that you can afford to pay for that week, so that because you know you're going to be able to pay it the next week. So debt when it comes to business, and this was mind-blowing for myself, and again, you should definitely talk to an accountant or a CPA or somebody who is doing this on the day-to-day and totally 100% qualified to do it. But what I found as a business owner is that when it comes to your business, people talk about debt like it's a bad thing, like you're a consumer again, because personal debt is not great, right? But when it comes to your business, when it comes to making it, sustaining it, and keeping it alive and keeping it growing, when you are growing a business, you are going to be short in cash, okay? You're going to be very short in cash because it's all going back into your business. You're putting all of your energy, investments, and resources back into your business to grow it, okay? And so depending on how much cash, how much capital you have to put back into your business, that also determines how much growth you can have. So when people talk about when they're going to double or triple or 10 times the growth of their business, that's great. But when you talk about that, you have to think about how am I going to get twice as much or 3 times as much or 10 times as much capital to reinvest into my business so that I can hit those gains. Because there's a certain amount of money that you need to spend to make a certain amount of money in your business, okay? And so at the end of the day, your cash flow forecast is going to help you understand and see that in an actual real life model of being like, all right, I know that if I need to spend 10 times as much this week to make 10 times as much 2 months down the line, this is what it's going to look like. And this is maybe the amount of money I'm going to need to save, or the amount of money I'm going to need to fund somehow to get me there. And so what most people don't think about is, how am I going to fund my business? Because you're told that you can do it on the cheap. You're told you can do it on the DIY. You can't. Businesses require money to evolve and to run. And so you need to make sure when it comes to your business, you're always trying to figure out where that cash is going. Could you be putting it someplace more effectively? And if it is a place where you're going to be dry in a week because you're in between 2 payouts, or you've got, expenses just hit you, but you're getting a set of new payments coming in the 3rd week, how are you going to fund that? Okay. And so at the end of the day, a cash flow forecast is just a spreadsheet. I know, weird, right? You think it'd be some sort of magical piece of software or some amazing, special chart, but it really is just a breakdown of what expenses do I have to pay, what am I getting in every week or every month, depending on how often you want to run it, and where is it going? And so that should reflect accurately in your bank account statement. So when you are going, it's based on reality. When you are going to your bank account, you should be able to go from your cash flow forecast, go to your bank account and be like, where this should look the exact same. Okay. And if it doesn't, then it means that something is off and you need to go change it ASAP. Because if you don't know where your cash is going in your business, then you're basically losing it. Okay. You need to know where it goes. You need to know where it's coming in. And you need to know why there's a difference, if there is a difference, because that's a very good indicator that your expenses are higher than you think, and that's where your cash is going, or that you aren't making as much as you think. And so a lot of people take that for granted, but you really, really, really need to make sure that you are documenting where your cash is going. And do not stress if you don't have a lot of cash showing up in your bank account, because this will show you why. If you're investing heavily in designers because you're going to redesign your course, if you're, just hired your first VA because they're going to help you be able to, work with more clients. These are all things that strategically, when you have them in place and you see them in your cash flow forecast, you can be like, all right, well, I just hired a VA to help me with all this admin stuff, but that means I can get 2 more clients in and I can work with 2 more clients a week. So that will have a return once I sell those spots of $200. And you can see that as a projection in your cash flow forecast. So basically what happens is that you need to get comfortable with cash. You need to understand where it's going. You can't avoid it. And if you have a negative or a zero, account balance at the bottom of your cash flow, at the bottom of a week, that's normal for businesses. Okay. So don't freak, just figure out ways to fund it so that you can keep moving forward and make sure that you're making enough money with clients that you can keep moving forward and that you can keep growing your business. So that's what I would like to tell you about today, because cash flow forecasts really are the most sanity saving of your financial statements for most entrepreneurs, because they want to see where that cash is going. They want to see where that cash is coming in, and it helps you understand and plan better about how you're going to grow your business and how much you can actually afford to grow your business. Because if you don't have the money, you can't really grow your business. All right. Well, that is me from Halley Gray from Evolve and Succeed. Braless on Couch. Go get that cash flow forecast ready, buddy. It's going to help you a lot.